Hello, everybody. I'm starting my new sort of podcast. Haven't thought of a good name for it, but send me some comments. I'll think of something. Um, but this is one of my first segments. It's called Risers and Sliders. It's a stupid name, but it kind of rhymes, so I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with it. It's about the NBA, and these are the people with today being the beginning of the NBA season. I would like to start off with people I think who are going to improve vastly, uh, and people who I think are going to fall off a cliff. So, with that being said, I'm going to start off with a riser, and obviously risers are ones who do well. Rondae Hollis Jefferson, and here's why: the Nets are awful. Okay, so with that being said, there is no reasonable explanation that he should not get his fair share of touches. And if he does, the thing about it was he was a surprising guy in terms of last year getting his metric stats were top 10 in the league at times. And it was bewildering because you're like, Rondae Hollis Jefferson? Wasn't he a second round pick or something? Yeah, okay. And he's playing for the Nets. So that's another thing that doesn't help his case. But he has to. It just seems like with the more playing time, and he's going to be starting. Um, Maybe he's developed his jumper. Maybe he's, um, I saw a little bit of preseason with him, and he's just a hustle guy. He's the guy who does all the little things right, and I think that he can only improve on that because the Nets are awful, and they're going to put the ball in his hands. Two, I have a combo, and they both play for the Rockets. That's why I lumped them together. But it's Eric Gordon and KJ McDaniels. It's the classic shooter and highlight reel duo, and both of them didn't get to play. Injuries and a trade. KJ McDaniels is going to be Rookie of the Year. I'm just kidding, he wasn't. But he was having a strong case for it. Been traded to the Rockets, and everyone is shot. Eric Gordon has been plagued with injuries his whole NBA career. That being said, uh, this year is their time to shine because the Rockets don't have shooters like that. I mean, Ryan Anderson was a good pickup, but we all know he can do that. These guys need to prove themselves as steady NBA players, and I think they're both going to do that. Number two, get ready, New York. Get ready, because Brandon Jennings is going to have a good year. Brandon Jennings is going to have a great year. Um, he's your sixth man, and he could win sixth man of the year. Um, I'm going to get to another contestant later, but he could win sixth man of the year because he's going to come off the bench. And Rose, I have an unfair advantage because I watched the game, but Rose, um, I don't have faith in his knees. I don't. I'm sorry, Knicks fans. I have zero faith in his knees. So whether he's starting or coming off the bench, if he comes off the bench, he's going to be sixth man of the year because the guy can play. Okay, and he didn't prove it last year, maybe the year before, then injuries. But he's going to prove it this year. I mean, you can already see it. Thaddeus Young, a great pickup from the Pacers. The guy could always score. The guy could always play. He can make post moves and he can hit threes. It's an easy pick because he's in a good system. And here's my surprise pick: Ty Lawson. Okay, Ty Lawson. So of my five risers, this one's the most surprising, and it should be because you think of Ty Lawson and you think of the last 2 years squandered. Really, um, that's why if you play a professional sport, do weed in your own house or don't get caught. Or just don't do it. It's really that simple. Anyway, so Ty Lawson, I don't know if you watched the preseason at all or anything. Him and Darren Collison, when they are on the floor together, it is hard to guard. There's two point guards out there that can really play, and it is great to watch. And if anybody has pressure on him, it's Ty Lawson. Because in this league, you're not going to get that many chances. And if you botch it with the Kings, you're kind of done. Okay, so that's it for the risers, and here's my sliders. I think I might offend some people here, but I don't really care. Um, Sliders. Number 1, Tony Parker. He's been on a steady decline. At least he's done it gracefully. But this year, Patty Mills is going to be better than him. And that's just how it is. I think everybody could have anticipated it. We didn't know who was going to be Patty Mills for sure, but this year Patty Mills takes the reins. And he could have been in my risers, but I think we all knew it was going to happen. So, Tony Parker. Yeah. Harrison Barnes and Chandler Parsons, and this is strictly because of the contracts. And I could say they're overrated, but that's a whole different segment that I'm going to do later, folks. I'm going to do that one later. I just don't see either one of these having a contract year and they're getting max pay. I mean, so I don't see it happening. I don't see it going well for either one of them. I think it's going to be sad for both teams because they dished out a lot of money, Brock Osweiler style, and it's not going to. I don't think it's going to pan out for either one of them. Chandler Parsons, too many injuries. Harrison Barnes, I don't think his game really translates to being that solid of a player. Maybe it will, and maybe I'll be wrong, and I'll admit it. I could be. I have a really good chance of being wrong in this scenario. I have more faith in Chandler Parsons. Harrison Barnes' game, I just don't see it. Another one, Brandon Knight. Now, this could be your favorite pick for Sixth Man of the Year because he was good last year. Solid production, and people, they go off of points. So he might have 15 points a game, but he's coming off the bench. And that's a stacked guard lineup in Phoenix. I feel sorry for him a little bit. He was solid last year. He averaged like 20 points a game. But you're not going to start a point guard or two guard. It's stacked. It's a stacked lineup, which is something you don't think about with Phoenix. Anyway, next player, Jeff Green. And it just doesn't make sense that he went with the Magic. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Because he's not going to start. He's going to come off the bench. And he, for as inconsistent as he is, he could start for somebody. He could. Or at least he could be a six man. I don't know if he's going to be a six man in Orlando, which I don't know if that's a good sign. Starting him over Aaron Gordon doesn't make sense because Aaron Gordon has plenty of potential and he's a better player anyway. So Jeff Green, who I like, is a player I like. Struggled with consistency, but when he's on, he's on. And I just don't see it. I just don't see it at all unless an injury occurs. Get ready for this, Spurs fans. I'm going to hit you again. Pau Gasol, number 5, and that's my surprise pick. Not going to be a good year. I don't think so at all, and I think that's because Aldridge commands the ball too much, and you've heard trade rumors about it. I don't think it's going to happen. If it does, that'll help Pau Gasol. If it doesn't, he's not going to get the same amount of touches. He's not going to be an all-star. I can just already, if there's a lock I have for this season, it's Pau Gasol not being an all-star. LaMarcus could be, and Kawhi will be, but LaMarcus just commands the ball too much. I don't think they're gonna run the ball to him the way that the Bulls did. And it's sort of a big man by committee. I can't speak. It's a big man by committee situation in San Antonio. They have David Lee. They have LaMarcus Aldridge and Pau Gasol, and they're going to intertwine those guys in. And I just don't see him getting the production that he had with the Bulls. So there you go. So there's my 5 risers and sliders. Overrated, underrated. It's kind of the same thing, but I'm going to do a different segment then. Subscribe. Tell me why I'm awful. I don't even care. I'll look at your comments. I will. But, and I might cry afterwards. But, that's part of it. But, thank you for watching. Subscribe, please. And, peace.